Hello and welcome or welcome back to the Import Export Hub channel, everybody. Bogdan here, your biased host for the next 10 minutes or so. Thanks for joining in. I hope that you are all doing great, and without begging you to hit those small vanity buttons below this video, allow me to present you 5 products that are worth exporting towards Ukraine. And guys, my first recommendation comes from heading 8703, so cars basically. But this time we're talking about second-hand cars with a cylinder capacity between 1000 and 1500 cubic centimeters, so relatively small displacements. And as we can see here, Ukraine's imports in 2022 amounted to almost $27 million, euros, sorry, this sheet is in euros, with Poland, Hungary, and Lithuania as the main partners, which were followed in this top 10 list by others like, I don't know, the Czech Republic or the Netherlands. And it ends here with Austria, who managed to export towards Ukraine some 91,000 euros worth of second-hand cars, which is almost doubled compared with what happened in 2021. As we can see here, Poland dwarfs the other partners, as in 2022 managed to have a whopping 74% share in Ukraine's overall imports from this heading, with almost 74% compound annual growth rate, which is again impressive, so hats down to the Polish auto traders. Hungary and also Slovakia managed good compound annual growth rates, with some 71% for the former and 53% for the latter. But given the low weight in terms of absolute figures, we can't compare them with Poland's. But anyways, good figures for these two countries as well. In terms of year-on-year changes, counterintuitive as it may seem, given of course the context, the imports went up with some 23% in relative terms, or 5 million euros in absolute ones, with Poland alone contributing with some 4.2 million euros, even though Lithuania and Denmark had big absolute negative changes, but clearly not enough to change the overall positive figure. As for the main import drivers, well guys, as I've said previously, we have subheading 870322, so we are talking about second-hand cars with an engine displacement between 1000 and 1500 cubic centimeters. Moving now to my second recommendation for you, we have here heading 3902, polymers of propylene, from which Ukraine managed to import some $147 million worth of goods for 2022, with Saudi Arabia, Slovakia, and Hungary as main partners, which were followed by others like, I don't know, South Korea, Russia, and the top 10 list ends here with Oman, who managed almost $4 million, sadly below the 2021 figures. Drilling down on a year-on-year basis, the overall imports shrunk with almost 41%, or $101 million, as the imports from Russia were stopped beginning with February 2022. And those, I don't know, $61 million, of course, contributed a lot to this contraction overall, even though both Serbia and the Czech Republic saw their exports towards Ukraine increase with some 6.2 and $4 million respectively, but clearly not enough to offset Russia's numbers. As for the main drivers, well, for both Slovakia and Serbia, we have the same subheading, so 390210, so we are talking about polypropylene in primary forms. Jumping now, guys, to my third recommendation, we have here heading 3102. And we're talking about mineral or chemical nitrogenous fertilizers with some $339 million worth of imports for 2022. And we have here Poland, Belarus, and also Turkmenistan as Ukraine's main partners, which were followed by others like, I don't know, Georgia or Bulgaria. And it ends here with South Korea, who managed to export towards Ukraine some $13 million in 2022. On a year-on-year basis, the imports shrunk with some 38% overall, or almost $209 million. Huge, if you ask me. With Belarus seeing its exports shrunk with almost $169 million, while on the other side of the spectrum, if you want, we have Turkmenistan, who saw its exports expanded with some $33 million. Practically jumping on the third spot in Ukraine's overall imports in 2022. As for the main drivers, well, we have ammonium nitrate for both Poland and Georgia, so we are talking about subheading 310230. Moving now, guys, to my fourth recommendation for you. We have here heading 0805, citrus fruits, fresh or dried, from which Ukraine managed to import some $242 million in 2022, just 9% lower compared with the previous year. And given the context, I don't know, $23 million in absolute terms is not that much, as Turkey's citrus fruits were still able to cross the Black Sea easily, or I don't know, cross Bulgaria, Romania, and then Moldova by road in order to reach Ukraine. Anyways, in terms of compound annual growth rate, again, for the last 5 years, we have a positive 2.3%, with Egypt, Argentina, and Italy being the only ones with negative figures in this top 10 list, but not necessarily true on a year-on-year basis for all the three countries, as basically we have both Argentina and Italy, who managed positive results relative to 2021, and we have some 10% for the former and almost 9% for the latter. Even though, let's face it, in absolute cumulative numbers, we're talking about $1.3 million, so not that much. As for the main drivers, well, in the case of Turkey, we have subheading 080521, so we are talking about fresh or dried mandarins, while in the case of Argentina, we have heading 080550, so fresh or dried lemons. And guys, with this product being covered as well, I will now move to my fifth and last recommendation for you. Bear with me. And we are having here heading 0303, frozen fish, excluding fish fillets, from which Ukraine imported some $342.6 million worth of goods, with Iceland, the United States, and Norway as main partners, which were followed in this top 10 list by others like, I don't know, Faroe Islands or Canada. And it ends here with Latvia, who managed to export some $7.7 million worth of goods, almost 11% more relative to 2021. The compound annual growth rate for the last 5 years is slightly negative, and we have here a minus 0.51%, with Faroe Islands managing the largest increase, some 30%, while on a year-on-year basis we have an overall contraction of the imports around 21%, or $89 million, if I were to put a dollar figure to the percentage, with Iceland and the United Kingdom having the largest absolute negative values, while on the positive side we have Faroe Islands with the largest absolute positive figure, who managed to increase their exports with some $12 million. As for the main drivers, well, we have frozen herrings coming from Iceland, and then frozen hake, subheading 030366, coming from Canada. And guys, with this product being covered as well, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I really hope you've liked it. Don't forget to leave a comment and, of course, hit those small vanity buttons. And as usual, until next time, keep your business safe. Thanks.